Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alvan Fazlurrahman. I'm from English Department 3C. I want to present Ibnu Khaldun Islamic Education Perspective. Let's start now. The biography of Ibnu Khaldun. Ibnu Khaldun was a historian, philosopher, and greatest scholar of his time. One of the greatest thinkers ever born, he was a founder of sociological science who typically distinguished how to treat history as science and gave reasons to support real events. Ibnu Khaldun has his full name, Abdurrahman Zaid Waliuddin Ibnu Muhammad bin Muhammad Ibnu Al-Hasan bin Jabir Ibnu Muhammad Ibnu Ibrahim Ibnu Abdurrahman Ibnu Khaldun Al-Khadrami Al-Tunisi. He was born on May 27, 1332 or 734 Hijriah in Tunisia of the Spanish Arabic family. Ibn Khaldun is known as the historian and father of Islamic sociology who memorized the Quran at an early age. His journey was filled with events, wanderings, and changes with a number of great assignments. From the position he granted and the wandering brought forth a number of tasks that profoundly affected the Western and Eastern intellectuals of both Muslims and non-Muslims in history, politics, economics, education, and philosophy. From the long story of Ibn Khaldun, it can at least be grouped into the three most important periods of time. First, the period during which Ibn Khaldun demanded the various fields of science, that is, he studied Quran, Tafsir, Hadith, Usul Fiqh, Tawhid, Fiqh, Mazhab Maliki, Nahwu and Saraf, Balaghah, Physics, and Mathematics. Second, Ibn Khaldun dived into the political field and served at various important state positions, such as Qadi al-Qudat, the paramount judge. However, for the slander of his political opponents, Ibn Khaldun was sent to prison for a time. Ibn Khaldun gets out of prison. Ibn Khaldun concentrates on research and writing. Ibn Khaldun is a writer. The work of Ibn Khaldun has many details, such as the Mantiq, the summary of Ibn Rushd's philosophy, also about fiqh, Arabic literature, and arithmetic. Here are some works of Ibn Khaldun. The Book of Al-Ibar, 7 volumes, that became Al-Ibar wa Diwanul Mubtada Awail Khobar, Fi Ayyamil Arab wal Ajam wal Barbar wa Man Asaruhum min Zawi Sultan Al-Akbar. Second, Lubab al-Muhassal fi Usul ad-Din, a book on issues and theological opinions. And the third, Muqaddimah, contains thoughts on social systems, government and political systems, and communities, economies, individuals, societies and states, human symptoms, and the influence of geographical and pedagogical and scientific factors and their tools. Next, Islamic education concept of Ibn Khaldun perspective. The understanding of education according to Ibn Khaldun is knowledge and skill as well as its realistic aspects of the work for getting risky toward a more developed society in accordance with individual trends. Ibn Khaldun's view of education is not blind to the realities of society. His experiences, wanderings, and life events once experienced are the basis for formulating a grounded educational formulation. As a sociologist, Ibn Khaldun is always oriented by the realities of society. According to him, it was always a dynamic according to the culture of the people, so that the development of the people was thought through and affected them automatically. It can be seen from the educational formula, which is first, provides a great opportunity for the mind to work, because optimizing the work of the mind begets the maturity of individuals who would then benefit from society. Second, acquire various knowledge as a tool to help socialize in cultural societies. Third, get a job that was used to earning rizki. The plans of Ibnu Khaldun in reading social realities has led to a more realistic formula of education for the necessities of life. If you draw on the state of Islamic education in the Muslim personality, insan kamil or taqwa, while taqwa is something that can be measured, it can be seen from the opinion of Atiyah al-Abarashi that Islamic education is the right education of Muslims, is not filling the brains of proteges with all sorts of science that they have not yet known. Achieving perfect moral objectives is the real goal of education. Ibnu Khaldun also argued that his quest for knowledge was to enable humans to understand the various aspects of knowledge he viewed as a tool to help him live well in a developed and cultured society. Next, the purpose of Islamic education. Ibnu Khaldun argued that the purpose of education was first to allow the mind to be active and to work, because he viewed this activity as essential to the opening of individual minds and maturity. It will give benefit to the community. The mature mind was the means of advancement of science and industry and social systems, because science and industry are born in society cause of insanist mental activity, whereas the most important manifestation of this mental activity is the occupation of science. The purpose of Islamic education, according to Ibnu Khaldun, can be divided into two parts, which is a gospel-oriented educational purpose. Ibnu Khaldun explains in the Muqaddimah that teaching children to explore into the Quran is a symbol and an idea of Islam. Muslims own and the Quran practice its teachings and create teaching that can reinforce faith and strengthen faith in the Quran and the Hadith. A temporary oriented educational goal in the Muqaddimah of Ibnu Khaldun explains that education is one of the thriving industries in society. Ibnu Khaldun argued that if an industry flourished in any society because it was essential to its individual life. Next, elements of Islamic education. According to Ibnu Khaldun, Islamic education is influenced by several elements that can be used as a basis for consideration to determine the purpose of education. First, the presence of educators. In the process of educating or searching for science certainly requires an educator. Educators themselves were not separated in the world of education. From them, the students would gain knowledge. The educator in practice is expected to be able to give clear knowledge, and in his teaching process should promote caution and wisdom. The influence of sociological philosophy as is known is crucial for philosophy to have the essence of education. Third, the planning of knowledge. This is an important factor and is associated with the first element, because if schools and colleges do not prepare or plan the knowledge that will be tough to learners, then there will be uncertainty and where they will go, and eventually people grow stagnated. Education in Islam is insani activity. They become an integral part of the 2 points above. Schools or college shouldn't be educational, but should be able to stimulate and cultivate the resourceful activities of learners. I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.